Hello, we are live on LinkedIn, we are live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube. I'm Jasmine Ofori. I'm the founder of Jew Digital, and what I do, or me and my team do, is we assist busy coaches, consultants, and event hosts to stay visible online so they can generate leads and get clients using social media marketing. So we customize infographic content, we customize, your photos and any media asset that you've got that will speak to your target audience. If you'd like to reach out to me, feel free to contact me. My details are currently scrolling across the banner. Today, I'm here with the wonderful Peggy Bareh from Arise and Thrive Academy and Jean Caggiano from Gems of Hope. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Peggy, our host, to take over and, introduce herself and also introduce the guest. So Peggy, feel free to roll.
Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you again for the amazing job that you do. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody. My name is Peggy Bareh. I am the founder of Arise and Thrive Academy. And what I do is just to help women, not just women, men to rebuild their life after a domestic abuse. So we have got today, we are actually talking today, a fantastic topic, and we've got a fantastic guest in the name of Jean Caggiano. So wherever you're watching today, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for being here with us. So today, like I say, we have an incredible lady, Jean Caggiano. And just for me to give you an intro of who Jean is, Jean is always, in fact, smiling. I would say she carries a lovely smile, and she always carries that can-do attitude. The attitude, the mindset that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, there is a future for you if you embrace change. Jean is known as an enthusiastic entrepreneur, a visionary, and an award-winning international speaker and an educator. She is highly motivated to inspire others to define their values, to discover their purpose, to ignite a passion, and just to step up and win in life. Following educating others and the pursuit of lifelong learning has become Jane's passion. And today she is living her dream of helping others to maximize their potential in life, in academics and in careers as well. So you're highly welcome, Jane. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for being here. How are you today?
Thank you very much, Peggy. I am fabulous. I am grateful for that you've invited me here today to share with your audience and to share more about myself with you. I have learned that one of the best things is that peace begins with a smile. Mother Teresa said it best. Peace begins with a smile. And that quote helped me to think about change and how I needed to change how I looked to begin that change that we need. Thank you very much, Peggy. And thank you, Jasmine, for putting this together. Once again, I'm grateful to be here. And today, are you ready to embrace change? Thank you.
Yes. Of course I am. So thank you so much, Jane. Thank you so much. And gosh, you've got a lovely smile. You've got a lovely smile. And I love the part in your bio that talks about the attitude, that attitude that says no matter who you are or where you are from, your future is up to you. That is a powerful quote, and that is a powerful statement to hold in your bio, and that just defines who you are. When you have that attitude, that mindset, I think everything is possible. So thank you so much for that. So today, Jean, we're going to be talking about the power of embracing change, what change can do when we open our hearts, when we open our mind to embrace change. And I just want to begin by sharing a powerful quote. And this is the quote that got me In fact, it woke me up in 2017 when I was going through a difficult moment in my life. And that quote was written by Jim Rohn. He said, "Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change." Now, change is a very massive word. It's a massive statement. Some people don't even want to hear about it. When they hear about change, they're like, I don't want to hear about change, change, change. But change is a powerful word. What does change mean to you, Jean?
Change to me means that we have to look at where we're at and where we want to go and start looking at what are the little changes that I'm going to need to make to get to the big change. For example, I am a survivor of 14 years of domestic violence. And at the end of that, there was a point where I had to come to understanding with myself that I was going to have to make a change. I couldn't wake up each day and expect doing the same things and believing that somebody would change, somebody else would change. I needed to look inside and start some change myself. So change can mean different things from different days. Today, change to me today means that it is my goal to help others identify places where they're going to need to adjust, change, and become who they are created to become. Find those gems, those beautiful things that are created within them, and discover them. Diamonds are put under pressure before they become beautiful. And if a diamond didn't stay consistent to its purpose, it would not become a diamond. So today, thinking of change, some of those things that you've been through in pain are those pressures in life that you've faced. And those are where you are becoming that diamond, gemstone, as I like to call the gems of our life that become what we are in beauty when we allow it to. So change in my today, I know that there's change out there happening. Thank you, Miss Peggy.
Absolutely. Wow, that is so powerful. And Jane, you did mention there that you were survivor of domestic abuse for 14 years. And same, we come from that same background. And I understand the impact that it can have on our mindset, the impact that it can have on us as individuals, where we are stuck in that cycle of believing something that someone has been telling us for so many years versus believing who we are as a person. So as a parent, my second question would be like, at what point in your life did you embrace change? And what did you do? So that first point, what was that turning point where you chose to embrace change?
I will have to say that it came in stages in my life, because in 14 years in that situation, there were several times that I attempted to leave the situation.
Yeah.
I created an idea of how I would make a change for myself, and I would take some action, but I wouldn't follow through always to get myself out of there. And as a single mom, I had 4 children in that environment. And as a single mom, I had to think about, all right, now how many are being affected? So in 2001 was when I finally made the final decision to make that change. I packed up everything we owned and I left the great North states and came to Florida. And I said, I'm going to make a change today. And my goal then, and still today, is to jump in with both feet and serve humanity as the Father has created me to do, and not look back. I gave the abuser one last chance to make that change with me. I told him, no, if you're coming with me, which he chose to. I got focused and I made that change. And eventually I had to become divorced from him. But I had to put it in my heart that I needed to make that change. And with that change, I took my GED that I had, eventually decided I wanted to follow a dream to become a teacher so I could educate individuals. Because before that, as a mom, there was a time without education. They would come home from their schools, and I literally would cry at night a couple times because I couldn't help them. I couldn't help them read. I couldn't help them write. So in 2021, when I came to Florida, I said I was going to jump in and I was going to serve. And in that serving, I was brought back to my dream of being a teacher at a very young age. And the Father said, I have been preparing you for a journey. I've been preparing you for this change today. And it's on time now, because as we moved on into the 2000s, we know that there's a lot of change that started coming. And there's some other stories I can share with you where I've had to embrace that change. But thank you very much. Out of domestic violence, it was a very drastic change after many years, because I returned many times. I believe to understand the statistic right now is they say that it takes an average of 7 to 8 times for a woman to leave. And I certainly was one that created that range to even be up that high, because I don't even know if I can count how many times I attempted to get out of that cycle. It's difficult. So you really have to embrace change to even get out of there before you can start to heal and embrace other changes within your life to become a teacher. So you teach children, not only my own, but today I'm here to teach anyone that's willing to listen. And I love to learn every day. As my bio there shared, I'm a lifelong learner. And that's what my goal is, to create lifelong learners. Empowerment with education to get you from wherever you are to wherever you can. If you create that vision, you can get there.
Absolutely.
Thank you again.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. You know, when you talk, it just brings to mind memory. Like, you know, it resonates. Your story resonates so much with me, because as parents, especially when you're going through events like, say, domestic abuse, one thing that you are stuck with is the mindset of, first of all, the limiting belief, like, first of all, who is going to believe me if I tell them that that is what I'm going through? Secondly, not just that, where do I go? Even if I was to move away from here, where do I go to? Who is going to help me? Who do I rely on? And sometimes when we think about all of those things, the only solution we have on our plate is to stay in that environment. And that is why you will see many will leave and come back, because they go out there and they feel like the society, everybody is judging at them. They don't even know where to start. They're feeling the guilt. Just by listening to you, as I mentioned, in 2017, I would describe it as I was in my valley. And that valley is the moment where everything was happening. The pain, the trauma, the feeling of rejection, the confusion, everything, the loss, where you don't even know who you are. You don't even know. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even know my purpose. I didn't even know where I was going. Which direction am I taking? And for me, like I say, that voice that keeps telling you that you are nothing, you are useless, you are up to nothing, you can't achieve anything in life. But then at that point, you're not just struggling to overcome that negative voice that keeps ringing in your head. You're also fighting to maintain the well-being of your children, because they are looking on to you. They are relying on you. If you fail yourself, you fail them. So for me, just like you say, it's that moment where you've got to stand up and do something. And the only thing you can do is to embrace change. For me, I said to myself, if I'm not doing this for me, let me do it for my kids, because I want to rewrite a story. I want to rewrite the story. I want to have a different script that my kids are going to read, a different script about me. So for me, that change was not easy to come by. It was difficult. It was challenging. So I will just share, like, for example, when I said I was going to embrace change, for me, it was to turn my pain into gain. And turning my pain into gain was turning that pain of limiting belief or limiting mindset to gain of empowering mindset. So for me, I thought mindset is a very, very crucial element when we want to embrace change. What can you share on that, Jean, about our mindset?
On mindset is actually, I like that you use that, because mindset coach is one of the things that I've been referenced, because in my classroom, I get to tell students that they have to think about that positive stuff. There's a balance. And if we stay in the negative thinking, then we're going to have that stinking thinking, is what I like to reference it. And we'll get ourselves bogged down into that low self-esteem, and we'll take and listen back to those voices of those naysayers in some cases. Because at 40 years old, when I said I'm going to follow a dream of being a teacher at 40 years old, and I barely have a GED, today I get to sit before other students and help them. So it's like, yeah, I had many people say, well, you don't have that education. But today, that mindset, got to break that limited mindset, because yes. And students will just keep putting it out there. They got to think on the mindset. Going to the pain, that was what I wanted to do. It's not here to break you. It's here to make you and push you through. And also watch, because that's where the transformation is going to come, when you've embraced that change from that pain. So pain can come to us in 3 different ways when we're using the pain for that transformation. It's physical, mental, and emotion. So it's not like we're just dealing with maybe I would like to say that I got to where I was putting on so much makeup, I had a mask that I was putting on every day, covering up the bruises in my face. So that would be the physical. But that was the easy stuff to cover up and to heal from. It's the mental and the emotion. And the emotional really kind of started setting in when COVID came. And a lot of our students, when we finally returned back to the classroom, our students was coming with that emotional. So in those settings, they're seeing now the families that are starting to if you're not sure about how to use that mindset to control your emotions, we have to be able to separate the two. So it will drain us, and it will leave us feeling like giving up. And that's where we have to just take and remember that as long as there's breath within us, there's still hope. Because even with just a breath left, there's still hope for that change. So don't give up. I know that there's been times where, wow, I didn't think I was going to make it to the next day. But again, that breath gives hope. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, mindset is actually, and like I always say, that change, when we get up and say, today I'm going to make the change. Because I know change, like you say, change will happen to different people at different stages in their lives. Right now, there's some people who are parents, they just want certain change. There are some people who are entrepreneur business, or they just want certain change. We've just entered February. It's a new year. And many people are making changes. I want to change that. I want to change this. I want to change that. So it's all about change. But at the end of the day, our mindset, there's some people that I was just reading a statistics that say, I can't really, but it says majority of people will always jump to make a change, but very few actually achieve that change. Because, for some people, when they don't get the results, maybe in say in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they drop off. But what is another element? I know consistency, again, when we come to make that change, is a big element. And what do you have to say about that, Jane?
I like that you use that still as that pain and sometimes that jump off. I know that pain, it's going to test everyone, but those who refuse to surrender to it is where the real legends, the power comes from. If we give up because of those pains, whether they be the emotional, physical, or the mental, then we'll never truly know how powerful we can be if we give
Yes.
up. So we have to make sure that we stay consistent and know that there's a purpose for it. In our case, as we're having the opportunity to speak about it now, we're opportunities to maybe share with others on how to work through that process. One of the things that I struggled with even after I started making the change was the forgiveness of myself and being that parent that chose to stay in that environment even though I wanted out of it so much. We know that it can become that cycle, and we just get limited thinking that nobody's going to help us, right?
Yes.
But if we just change the mindset and step out, there are resources and there are people that will help us, and there's a community. I know that in my case, there was a period of time that I know that if we get on our knees and ask, we will get what we need. And there was a time when there was a woman sent to me, and she spent about a year and a half, 2 years working with me. And she helped me see what I was created for and reminded me that I am a beautiful daughter of the high and most power, as
Yes.
all of you young ladies. And well, you might not be a daughter, but you're a son if you're a young man listening to me here in the conversation, because we are beautiful in his sight. And for some reason, when we get here in this part of our journey, we tend to listen to what other people tell us. And the only way that we're going to become who we are is to get with ourselves. And when we get with ourselves, accept that pain that's within us, first off, of the things that we may not be, because sometimes we want to be something that we really can't be, because that's not what we're created for, right? I mean, my mouse here for the computer works only for what it was created for, right? And you have a purpose and you're created for something. So those pains that we go through, they're part of the shift to become what you are created for in what my belief system is. And it's proven true throughout, even in the situations on my knees, I would ask for something and it would just arrive in some of the strangest ways. So the pain you have to go through so that you can see the greatness that's within you to keep going. And also, most of all, is to be able to see that the Creator is the one that is bringing you through it. So just like in the scriptures, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they walked through that fire. And when they came on the other side, there was no smell of smoke, based on the story that I believe to be true. Thank you again.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is so, so powerful. Yeah, and when we talk about consistency, it's about I see change as a seed. When you choose on the day you decide, say, I'm going to change today, whether it means changing a mindset, a limiting mindset to an empowering mindset. When you do that, it's a seed that you plant. When you plant a seed in a soil, you bury it. You can't see the seed, but you need to continue to nurture that seed, water it, nurture it, dig around it, make it, and gradually you see the seed it start to sprout into leaves, into branches, and then that is where you start to see the results. But it didn't just happen overnight. It took maybe a few weeks or so to grow. So that is same with us change. When we choose to embrace change, for me, as I wrote in my book, when I talk about I'm thriving now, which is 14 steps to turning a pain into gain, the very first step for me was the ignite your consciousness, where you wake up. Because sometimes we sleep through our pain, we sleep through our challenges. We've heard them over and over again, and sometimes we even get used to it. Even when people are telling us that, hey, Peggy, we are blanking, we can't see. we can't see because we've already programmed our mind. We are comfortable. We're comfortable even in our painful situation. And so we don't want to be disturbed in that our comfort zone. So for me, I felt like I was sleeping. I was literally with my eyes shut, sleeping through my pain. And I had to wake up. For that change to occur, I had to say enough is enough. I've had enough of going through this cycle. I've had enough of believing what other people think about me. I've had enough of thinking in a certain limited way. I've had enough of pleasing everybody except me. I've had enough of just living life as if, there's no purpose. So for me, there was a lot of enough that I had come, in that I had come to that point where I had to make decisive decisions, like moments in my life that where do I move from here? And for me, that is where change began. Because for me, I started like, how can I turn? If I say enough of this, what is the best alternative of that? So for me, that is where I had to step out and start learning, right? Step out and start creating new network of friends. Step out and start, networking with other people within the community. That is when I discovered that, hang on, I'm not just the only one going through this. Many others are going through it. And how can I learn from them? Right. So you did say something about forgiveness as well, Jane. I would like you to expand on that, because I feel that that is one of the things that actually holds us back, especially coming from that environment of domestic abuse. That guilt and that unforgiveness is a lot of. In fact, it keeps us hostage. So, what can you talk about that, please?
Thank you for bringing that up. I am working on scripting a book myself, and in that, it is part of it is about that language that we hear that puts us into that place. But I'm sorry, please repeat the question, because all of a sudden my brain just went.
Yeah. So I was just talking about, you mentioned something about forgiveness, right?
Okay.
Forgiving yourself. And I just wanted to say it's a massive thing when we're embracing change. So could you expand on that? What's the importance of forgiveness in embracing change?
Thank you. Forgive me. And what it was in reference was that Corrie ten Boom is one of my favorite heroes, and she had to do forgiveness. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Corrie ten Boom's story, but in my story, I know that as I'm unpacking that history, I've had to forgive myself. And really, I am the one that's been holding myself hostage, as the Corrie ten Boom quote is, that I don't have it right this minute, but it is in scripting my story. I found that it was myself that was holding me hostage, and myself that I needed to forgive. So that is a very key part in unpacking some of the traumas that come from those traumas that come from that domestic violence. So thank you. Forgiveness is key, that seed.
Yes, absolutely. And there is a chapter that I wrote in my book, talk about forgiveness, because for us coming from that environment, and I know some of us were watching, like I said, whether we're parents or single parents, there are single parents out there that I always say nobody goes into a relationship, or nobody wakes up and chooses to become a single parent. Or even if they choose to, right, it is not a crime. Okay. So sometimes many parents are going through that guilt. They look at their children, maybe their kids are not getting what they're supposed to get. They're not getting the love, the warmth, that family unit that they would love to. And immediately, as a mom or as a dad, you start to feel guilty. And sometimes you feel like, you know what, you start blaming yourself. Oh, it's my fault. If I had done this, if I shouldn't have done this. So that sense of guilt steps in. And it is that sense of unforgiveness where we tend not to forgive ourselves. And also sometimes we don't even forgive the perpetrator or the abuser.
Yes.
So for me, forgiveness when I was going through my journey was a huge, massive thing for me, because I thought to myself, there are people that sometimes people will say, forgive and forget. Oh, just forgive. Oh, but I always ask, how? How can you do it? How can you forgive? Right. So for me, I said, I'm going to, well, gradually I found the how. And that how was in gratitude. So gratitude is each of the letters is actually a step to forgiving yourself and to also forgiving those that hurt you. And I wrote it, I think it's in chapter 8 in my book or so. Because for me, when I went through that stage, each step by step, I started to feel that release in such a way that I could even embrace the person that hurt me, because I saw that, hang on, if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't have been where I am today. The treasure that was in that pain, I have been able to harvest that treasure, and that has made me who I am today. So I am grateful. So for me, that sense of gratitude actually helped me to forgive myself, and it actually helped me to forgive those that hurt me. So yeah, so that was so, so powerful, Jean. Now, my next question that I would want to ask is that for people who are watching us at the moment, Jean, what will you say are some of the strategies that they can take to embrace change successfully in their lives?
I would say before I give any strategies, first remember it is small little steps.
Yes.
And change, we don't always see it so quickly.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if I had to help someone level a trailer, for example,
Yes.
it could be just a small little piece of wood that would need to be pushed in there just to lift up one side, the right, to make it level. And it's so small, but it affects the entire foundation. So those little changes are where you have to start. Do not beat yourself up when you don't follow through one day, because it's okay to fall off and not do it one day. Just don't let it happen every day.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb is to start with yourself. Start the morning by looking in the mirror and ask yourself, how are you today? We walk around daily and we ask others, how are you today? How's it going? How are you doing out there? I know I love to answer fabulous, but when is the last time I asked myself, how are you today? So that is where it starts. Wake up and ask yourself, how are you today? Just like another meeting we were just in, be honest with yourself where you're at and be okay with where you're at. Because if you are honest with yourself and you're okay with yourself, then you can start making those small changes, one step at a time. Find someone to partner up with. There are other people that need accountability as well. So become a person that's giving them accountability as well. Ask them to be accountable to you. Make sure it's somebody you trust, because as you build that relationship, you need to be able to recognize that the reciprocality of the two relationships, as it changes and builds, that person is probably healing along with you in their own journey. And remember, too, that it may be a different person today that you're partnering up with than who you would partner up in your next season. I love that you identified harvest, because that is really what it is. It's seeds. And those seeds, there are some that spend the time in the ground that seems like forever. So today, the seeds you need to sow for your change for tomorrow, you need to sow those little seeds today, because you won't see that change today. So don't measure your today based on what you can see if you've only begun. You do have to start somewhere. But if you've only begun with the change, don't expect it to change overnight. I am over 60 years old. And it wasn't till I was 40 years old that I decided to embrace the change and discover my purpose and move into what I was called to do, taking that pain, turning it into purpose, and most of all, helping others do the same, find themselves, and then they can shine bright like a ruby, a diamond, a gem, a whatever stone. I like them all, so I can't ever choose the same one. So what do you want to be? And then the harvest, it'll come automatically. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was so powerful, Jean. And I truly 100% agree with you, because sometimes when we don't embrace change, our purpose is just on the other end. But for us to get to that end, we need to embrace change that can take us to where our purpose is. Even if we don't embrace change, we lack clarity, because it's only in that mindset when we're clear about who we are, before we can be able to actually identify why are we here for. Okay. So for me, that was, if I had not embraced that change, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I do today. And so it is very, very important that, and you said something, change will not happen overnight. It will take time. And sometimes when we want to embrace change, sometimes even our voices will laugh at us. That negative voice in your head that tells you that don't waste your time. You can't achieve anything. No. That is when we need to be able to stand firm and let that empowering positive voice override that negative voice. And so long as we keep doing things step by step, bit by bit, one day at a time, definitely we'll see that seed blossom into the result that we want to. So I am aware that, Jean, you do quite a lot in your community. Can you tell us more about what you do?
Currently, I get to work with youth ages 16 to 24. Most of them is one of my primary locations. I work with a couple different other faith-based schools, helping with reading concentration, helping with foundational reading for children, as well as with the youth, as I identified, helping them. That many of them have fallen out of school. They've dropped out, whether they've went to work. In my case, I dropped out in 7th grade. I went to work and helped my mom raise my 2 little sisters. So today I get to help other individuals that for some reason have fallen out of school, and now they're looking to go back to school. Most of them I have a couple mothers, and then most of them are single young ladies and young men. But to help them discover the gifts that they have within them, the skill sets they've already possessed at the age where they're at, because those things that we learn when we're growing up, as a business person, I've learned we can use them to our advantage to earn our way until we get to the next level of what we're doing. I also work with, the question was, what do I do in the community? So another, one of my passions is for the homeless. So for about 4 years now, I've been partnered up with Restoration Dedication Life Center, and they serve food to the homeless. And now they've started going into these small faith-based schools, as well as 2 of them that I've worked with, and bringing them lunch in, and being an educator, I know that we need the food to be able to get our brain to work, because I've studied a lot about the brain and how it's a muscle, and it's a muscle, and we can build it up just like we can the rest of our body, but we have to have the food. I can't I can't expect a student to be able to think and learn if they're coming to me without having food. So my passion has always been for the homeless, because it's how I grew up. moving around from here to there. And now it is helping individuals find where can they get the resources so that they can start by having food, homes, and then the education to empower them to become whatever. I say whatever carefully because we can't just be whatever we want to be, but we are created for something. So find what we are created for. And then working with the Department of Labor for the United States, it's a fund underneath that. And it's given down to the housing authority. So being there in the housing authority where some of the young people, single, young ladies and young men that are single in poverty, they're in these homes and they get funding to go to school. So if I can help them get focused to where they want to go in the academic world in their careers, then we can help them get monies to go to schools to get for free. Some of it's for free. Obviously, they have to demonstrate that they're ready to step up for that change, as it was for me at 40, to step up and become that teacher and to go back to school after I dropped out in 7th grade, drop out of school at 12 years old and then come back at 40 and try to be a teacher, try to go to school, period. I didn't even know how to be a student. So today, that's part of what I get to do. I show them that when it comes to taking tests, well, there's strategies to test. It's not time to learn when you're taking a test. Get in there, be a detective, find the answer, get out of there. Either you passed it or you didn't. And remember that every day is a test. Every day is a test. So a lot of young people get caught up on those tests. So my goal is to move them into those careers, taking those tests so that they can demonstrate that they're capable to become doctors, lawyers, and anything. And I just use those because those are two that a lot of people want to become. But once they see what it takes to become, they're like, I might not go that far. But just to get the empowerment, because education empowers us. Once you know, right?
Yeah.
You can use
Absolutely.
that mind. And once you get it going and take action. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Such a wonderful achievement, Jane. When you're talking, I'm just thinking you drop out at grade 12. Was it grade
7?
Grade 7.
I completed 7th grade.
And then you come back, you restart again at age 40, and then here you are, you're just thriving. And it's such an inspirational story that, because I know sometimes as parents we get to a point like, what, I can't be bothered about this. And then this is where we allow our dreams to die because we feel that maybe we are too old for it, or maybe we can't cope. But look at you. How do you feel, Jane, in yourself?
I feel empowered myself. Here's where some of that limited mindset started holding me back, because once I got my master's in education, well, I achieved that dream. And now I'm like, okay, where's one of my other dreams? So I went looking for one of my other dreams because I'm packed with dreams. I'm a dreamer since I was a little girl. And so my father's given me the opportunity to achieve many of them. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to start working on a doctoral degree. And I got into it was for a PhD in human services, nonprofit. Yeah. So my thinking was, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to save the world. My goal is to help the hungry, hurting, and homeless people in the world. And so that's what I still get to do. Like I said, I get to do what I love to do. My wall up here says, Gems of Hope, do what you love to do. And I do get to do that every day. Oh. Anybody can do it. I did after about 4 classes, though. I'm like, wow, it's costly for one, and it's hard when you get up there doing all that writing. And even though I'm a teacher, I still don't necessarily like writing, but that's okay. I'm a speaker. He gave me a voice. I'm the herald telling you that you can do anything you put this mind to do. Yes. If you'll go get those resources, there's someone out there that will help you. The next step I wanted to say, after you get a support person, you must get with yourself and find out what it is that you want to do and write those specific measurable goals and then work from there. And you'll see change happen. You just have to know what you want to do. One of my coaches, Dr. Phineas Canuthia, he says consistency to purpose that is what you got to do. Be consistent to your purpose. So once you find your purpose, and if you need some help, I know that there's wonderful, great people out there that would help you. If you can't find someone, find Miss Jean, because I'll get on Zoom. I've been Zooming around the world since 2020. COVID actually, we look at it in different ways, but I'm that positive thinker person, and I looked at it as a positive thing. I truly said to my students, helping them create goals once, right before COVID, I said, you know what? I'm going to make a big goal. I want to show you how to make a goal. I said, I want to talk to 10,000 people on all 7 continents.
Wow.
And I didn't give it a time bound, but I was just trying to walk them through. You got to be specific. And
Yes.
sure enough, within about 3 months, 4 months, COVID came, and I ended up on Zoom looking for more than 100 students that I just lost out of the classroom because we couldn't be in the classroom. So Zoom is a great place to be. And as I said, you can achieve great things. I'm zooming around the world today. Thank you. Thank you, Father.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So do you do more like, is it one-to-one or group sessions?
A combination of both. On the
Okay.
Zoom, it's more one-to-one right now. I've been working more in the classroom with the youth build students, and then going into the other classrooms with the little kids at the little faith-based schools that are around here. Not all of them are faith-based, but primarily that's what they are. And I'm in the process of building the mentoring program for myself, I've got 2 books I'm looking to launch this coming year, and I've got a couple speaking opportunities coming up. But my true passion is to get with individuals and have conversation and build the relationship, because that's where the safe places come from, where we can become who we are, that's why you got to find your community. And it doesn't always mean it's just one community. As a little girl growing up homeless, I traveled all over the United States, and everywhere I went, because I was that little smiley girl, everybody accepted me. So your community does not have to be in one place. And sometimes there's a time when you move from one community to another. It's part of that change, and you have to embrace that change, because otherwise you're going to get stagnant in one place, just like water. If it sits still, it's going to get nasty and smelly. We don't want to be there. We want to be moving, even if it's just a little trickle, a little bit. Don't give up. You got it.
Yes, definitely. We've got it. So this is 2025. We change for us to be able to get to the end of 2025 and we see some difference in our lives. We need to make that change now. Jean says that it doesn't have to be tomorrow, it has to be now. And it might just be that little thought to say, you know what, let me make this change today. Let me set a little goal that I can achieve today. And remember, she said, it will not happen overnight. It's just that little step that you make, and then progressively you see the results happening. Is that consistency? And again, remember, we said about mindset. It's about making that decision that, you know what, it's not about what people say. It's not about what the world say. It's not about the fast lane that everybody is taking. I'm just going to take my own lane. So long as I am making progress step by step, I'm going to get to where I am going to. So it's about that mindset and thinking about who you want to become, thinking about that greater purpose that the universe, the creator, the source up there, whether people call it God or whoever, energy. Remember, there is something greater than we are. So that is that greater source has given you a purpose in your heart. Would you let that purpose die, or would you plant that seed, nurture it, and then get a harvest? And remember, I always say, the harvest is not just for us, the harvest is for everybody. Because when that seed begins to blossom, that plant, when it blossoms and bear fruit, everybody's going to be enjoying that fruit. that is the fruit of your purpose. So thank you so much today, Jean, for having you. And where can we find you? I know your details are going on the screen, but where do we find you?
I'm on, you can email me at gemsofhope
Yeah.
gmail.com, and you can contact me through Facebook right now. I am getting ready to launch my website, so I have the email and Facebook. LinkedIn I'm on as well, and Instagram. I will get more active with that, but I am on there, so you can find Jean Caggiano, and you can find Gems of Hope on those places as well, I believe. But Gems of Jean Caggiano is where I'm trying to push that to. Thank you. Again, I'll be launching a website shortly. Thank you.
And of course, we're going to look out. You say you're launching your book, or you're writing your book.
I've got 2 books that I'm working on that will be launched this year. One, I believe we're looking at April, and one, I believe we're looking at October, and a couple speaking events coming up. If you want to reach me, you could send me an email, and then I can put you on a list where I will start. I have a newsletter I'm getting ready to push out shortly that I can send out to anyone for email. Again, Facebook, if you'll come in on that side, I'll grab your emails from there, and then LinkedIn until I get that website up and running. Then I will push that out for everyone as well. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Jen, it's been fantastic to have you here. But I think I just want, before we end the show, I just want to go back to Jasmine. Jasmine, are there any questions that any audience will have for our lovely Jean?
There aren't any questions, but lots of insights have been shared. Would you like me to read them out? Or what I was going to
Yeah.
do was just say a quick hello to everybody that's joined us on the live. So, hello to Sam Hall. Good evening to you from West SW Virginia. Thank you for joining us. Flatin Wenya from Zambia. Appreciate you being here. And thank you, Esume, as well, for joining us. Thank you, Tamrat, for joining us. And I see Christine has been very active in the comment section. She's been commenting a lot of valuable information in here. So Christine has actually mentioned that she'd like to connect with you, Jean. So I've said your details are in the comment section, but you could always reach out to her once the live is finished. You can go in the comment section and connect with her. She very much interested in what you have to share, Jean. And speaking of speaking events, if you'd like to hear more from Jean, I'm hosting my event on the 28th of February, and Jean will be there to speak. So if you'd like to be empowered and inspired by her, feel free to book your tickets. I'll leave the details in the comment section. The title is Visibility Secrets 2025. So what you'll be getting is basically connections. You'll get to introduce yourself, and also you get emails that you can follow up with and build that relationship that you so need to either move your professional or business ventures forward. I'll leave all the details in the comment section. It's $15 a ticket. The speaking spot is full, so it's just tickets for you to come in, be inspired, and to learn. So, Peggy, is there anything else you'd like to share before we close out? Oh, Jason, sorry. Jason S. Moray, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your feedback. They've been enjoying the insights that you've both shared. So, yeah, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Right. Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Jean, and thank you also our viewers for joining us today. The aim is to have topic discussions like this, especially about things that are facing parents, especially single parents. And again, these are information that help us in our own personal lives and help us to grow and to thrive in life. So thank you so much for having you, and thank you so much, Jasmine, for coordinating it. And we look forward to the next event that is coming up shortly. So I just want to say thank you. Thanks.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. We're excited. And have a good evening, good night,
And
good day,
good night.
wherever you find yourself. You take care of yourselves, guys. Oh, Dr. Marcia just popped in. Let me say hello. Hello, Dr. Marcia. Thank you for joining us. We're going now, but next time we hope that you can join us and join the conversation and share your insights too. So everybody, goodbye. I'm saying it finally. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.